Hello trainers, this is LondonInstinct and we are back this week with Blastoise. I am in a London rooftop outside, so do mind the city sounds. Standing at 5 feet or around 5 feet, this Blastoise is quite big, so we will try to maneuver around Blastoise. Before I begin, if you like these kinds of videos, drop a like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when new videos are released. I am planning on making one of these for every Pokemon ever, so I'll be here for a little while. But anyhow, I'll go ahead and begin. We are taking a look at this female Blastoise, although with Blastoise there are no specific differences between male and female, but I will switch between both as I go through each form. We are looking at 6 forms. We are looking at the normal form, the shiny form, the shadow form, the purified form, and the 2 forms that have the aviator shades, and that includes the normal and the shiny form of that Blastoise. So just an initial look, we do have this pretty big Blastoise. We had War Turtle last week, and it has a few differences. You have a bigger Pokemon. The arms they kind of look like tires stacked on each other, and you have three claws coming out of each arm. And with this bipedal Pokemon, you have 3 claws as well coming out from the legs. But as you can see, you have, well, actually 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe it's 4. Yes, actually for its legs you have 4 claws coming out at the bottom, and for the most part the legs, arms, and face are a light blue for Blastoise. You do have the shell which at the bottom just has three lines that break it down, and it is cream colored. It does have that cream color that follows the bottom jaw line of Blastoise and breaks up the face color, but in between the face and the shell you can see a bit of a hollow in where Blastoise would go back into its shell for protection. You do also have it looks like it's wearing kneecaps, really. So this Blastoise, it has a few different lines, a few lines on its arms and legs, and let's see how close we can get. Maybe not too close, but with its face, the ears are no longer fur covered, and they're a bit pointed ears with the skull following ridges where the eyebrows are, the arches. So also in the ear you have a hollowed entrance in the ear. It's not solid like we've seen with other Pokemon, and the eyebrows are a bit furrowed. You have the 2 lines at the ends of the eye, and the eyes are pretty light brown. So you have the nostrils as well at the tip of its snout, and it's not much of a snout, but the smile or the line of the mouth goes from ear to ear. Let's see if we can get a good growl from this Blastoise. And another. So it kind of bends down, and I'm gonna try to get it from down here. So whenever it does that, you can see 2 teeth from the bottom jaw and the top jaw. I think also you can see the very menacing cannons that are coming from its back and kind of shooting when you get the growl from Blastoise. It is very interesting and different to have this Pokemon with these cannons coming out of its back. If we follow through the back, you have the back of the shell, which is still like that. It's still a darker brown It's not very dark. It's a middle brown, and you can see with the shell where the shell splits at the top and allows for these cannons to come out from the back. And you also have the split at the bottom of the shell where its tail comes out, and you can see the hollow where it would retreat when it needs to. Let's see. We also, just to point out, the white that surrounds and divides the cream color of the stomach and the back is there as well. And just going back around, I'm gonna get another growl. It's weird because it seems like the growl is just the cannons shooting, but anyhow, let's see if we can look down the barrel. We can't really, but for now, I think that covers everything for Blastoise for the normal form. I'm going to go into the other forms now, and stick around, trainers. Alright, trainers, we are back, and we are now taking a look at the shiny form of this Blastoise. As you can see, there are a few differences. It is a better difference, I think, than what we had with Squirtle, and it is a better difference like we saw with Wartortle. So it is pretty similar to Wartortle. You have the arms, legs, and face in a light purple. You also have the eyes, and you can see the top of the shell, a bit of it anyways. You can see the green. It is a darker green, and that matches its eyes. But something else that I hadn't really noticed before, and the lining in that faces out where the cannons are, where that opening comes out, it is brown. I hadn't noticed that the color was different in the other form. The cream color is a tiny bit lighter for the stomach and for the bottom jaw. Let's get shot at real quick. So let me get a quick growl from this shiny Blastoise, and let's go ahead and look around. So as you can see, you have the back of the shell it is a darker green. It covers the back of its shell. You have the tail as well that keeps that light purple color that we see with its arms and legs. And I'm just getting a few growls because those cannons are so menacing. And I don't know, I wonder if it's uncomfortable for Blastoise to just... It can't really drop its arms on its sides because they're kind of big, and it just has to hold them in front of it like it's walking like a zombie or something like that. But those are the main differences with this shiny Blastoise. The cannons don't really change color. They continue their metallic color. So here we are. And we'll go ahead and leave you alone, shiny Blastoise, and move on into the shadow form of this Pokemon. Okay, trainers, do mind the drill behind us, but maybe we'll send shadow Blastoise after them and show them a bit of a lesson. So we are taking a look right now at the menacing, evil-looking shadow Blastoise. You have the purple cloud that surrounds this shadow Pokemon with its very dark, very bright red eyes. Let's see if we can get a closer look. We don't want to get too close. And let's see if we can get a nice shot. So I'm going to take a look at all around Blastoise. You can see that the purple cloud surrounds most of this Pokemon. It goes well above its head, and I'm just trying to get pretty far back so that you can see the full range of this shadow Pokemon. But there are no other differences with this Pokemon. It does, having its red eyes does make it look a little bit angrier than normal. It is a very serious Pokemon. We will cover some of its nature and disposition towards the end half of this video. But for now, let's not be too scared by this Shadow Blastoise, and let's go ahead and purify it. Once we get one, let me see if I can get one last growl. Trainers, we are back with the massive Blastoise. Well, it's not massive. It is, like I said, around 5 feet tall, but we are now taking a look at the purified form of this Pokemon. The main difference with this purified form is the white cloud that surrounds it. You do, again, still have those glinting areas, but aside from that, this Blastoise does not have any other differences. So let me go out to the front again, and hopefully we can maneuver around this Blastoise. It is quite close. Don't want to fall, but let's go ahead and get cannons drawn and move on into the final two forms, which have the aviator shades. We are back with the normal form of Blastoise that is wearing these aviator shades. It's not quite the same impression that Wartortle gave with the cool vibe and its cool ears and tail, and it just kind of worked. I think that Blastoise looks like a bit of a cool dude whenever it does its blasting cannons move, but there was a meme going around with Blastoise holding a cane, kind of like a grandma Blastoise, or even just, you know, knocking about, hitting children. Not that you would want to do that, but anyways, that's what memes are for, right? Nothing that makes sense. So let's just get one pan around this aviator Blastoise, and I'll see if I can maneuver around it here. We're a bit close to those cannons, but I'm going to go ahead and get one last cool look. You have the aviator shades that we saw in the last one. Let's see if we can get a little bit close, maybe a little too close. And let's go on to the shiny version of this Pokemon. Trainers, we made it. We made it towards the end of this part of the video. I know my observations and all of that might not be as interesting as the last half of this video, but I enjoy doing it, and I enjoy running into these Pokemon and going over some descriptions and continuing my work as I study for becoming a professor. So we are looking at this shiny form of this Blastoise. You have the shades, they haven't changed really, and you have the shell. Everything continues to be the same as the shiny form, but we just had to have one with shades, right? Because it's the Squirtle squad, which then becomes the Wartortle squad, and now the Blastoise squad. So let's go ahead and get kind of looks like it's trying to look over its shades, but I don't know that I will go all around it. Well, I might as well. So you can still see Blastoise's eyes, and they have the same color as its shell. Let me get another firing and just go back to the front. So for now, trainers, I will leave you and go deeper into Blastoise's background, some of the interesting things that I found, and thank you again for sticking around. The official Pokédex entry for Blastoise reads as follows. Blastoise, the evolved form of Wartortle, a brutal Pokemon with pressurized water jets on its shell at the top. Once it takes aim at its enemy, it blasts out water with even more force than a fire hose. The rocket hydro cannons on its shell fire jets capable of piercing concrete walls, punching holes through thick steel, and cut through steel plating. Blastoise is very accurate. They can shoot bullets of water with enough accuracy to strike empty tin cans from a distance of over 160 feet. The water jets are also used for high-speed tackles. Blastoise deliberately makes itself heavy so it can withstand the recoil of the water jets it fires. It crushes its foe under its heavy body to cause fainting. In a pinch, Blastoise will withdraw inside its shell and use it as armor. Blastoise's strength lies in its power rather than its speed. Tempted to have a Blastoise hose the mud off your bike? Well, don't. The water jets from its rocket cannons might look perfect for that, but they'd just blast your bike into oblivion. If your house is on fire, though, feel free to get a Blastoise to help, as they are better than a fire truck at putting them out. Blastoise is so popular among trainers that it's considered the definitive water type. Trainers, we will now review Blastoise in more detail and delve deeper into its background. Blastoise, like its preceding family members, shows no visible differences between male and female. Originally from the Kanto region, this Pokemon can be found in lakes and ponds, but sometimes live in colonies on remote islands. In Pokémon Go, Blastoise is very rarely found in the wild, but does favor rainy weather and has been known to spawn at higher rates when special events happen. Blastoise mainly eats fish and lots of it. They also enjoy Pokemon breeder prepared meals, seaweed, and even candy. With this evolution, Blastoise shows the biggest differences from Squirtle and Wartortle. Standing at around 5 feet and weighing approximately 188 pounds, Blastoise no longer has the fur-covered tail and ears that Wartortle had, or the non-threatening sweet eyes of Squirtle. With Blastoise, we have a larger Pokemon that stands tall and heavy and now has cannons coming out of its back, along with sharp claws on its hands and legs. As we saw with the Pokédex entry, the cannons allow for extremely strong and precise attacks, but even with its ability to become heavier to counter the recoil of these water's attacks, Blastoise is still quite agile and can bust some moves of its own if it has a trainer with such a disposition who has taught it moves throughout every evolution. Even with these powerful cannons, a Blastoise still has to be careful when around certain Pokemon. If something happens to Blastoise, it can affect the community around it. For example, there was a Squirtle, Wartortle, and Blastoise community in a remote island, but a Jigglypuff got stuck in one of the cannons of Blastoise. Every time it would sing, it would cause Blastoise and all others around to go fast to sleep. If it wasn't for a Wartortle who got away and sought help, this could have become quite a dangerous situation for the colony. In this case, once Jigglypuff was removed and became angry at everyone falling asleep, all they got was doodles on their faces. Another big concern with Blastoise is the incredibly high-pressured water it can shoot with its cannons. This can be great for battles, but is also strong enough to break bones, so careful around scaring or threatening a Blastoise, trainers. Well-trained Blastoise should not be firing blasts of water randomly, so this is rarely a problem. Blastoise is a combination of blast, referring to its cannons, and tortoise. Its Japanese name is Kamex and may be a combination of Kame, meaning tortoise or turtle, and Max, meaning maximum. My initial thoughts on Blastoise is that it looks quite serious and a bit intimidating. This is true with all the final forms of the Kanto starters, to be honest, but as I got to research the other two, the silly nature of Charizard and sweet nature of Venusaur also came out. With Blastoise, it was not until the end that I saw some of the fun sparks show up. I would not say it's more intimidating than Charizard or Venusaur, but those cannons coming out of its pack are just a bit threatening. Blastoise looks like it can withstand a hit and fire back powerfully. Very useful when facing opponents, especially with rock Pokemon. I think Blastoise really reflects the nature of Team Mystic's leader, Blanche, where they can be reserved, but also helpful and strong when they need to be. They don't show too much emotion, even though it's very much there beneath the surface. While Squirtle can be very sweet, it seems this Pokemon family has many battles through its evolution journey, both internal and external, so this battle-worn Pokemon in this final evolution is a bit more solemn and serious. Well, for the most part, when it's not busting some moves. There is actually a Mega Evolution for Blastoise, but we will not be covering that in this video as it's not yet out in Pokémon Go. I am excited to return to this Pokemon family when it is. The 3 Kanto starters hold the most nostalgia for me from all starters, and it will be great to examine this powerful Pokemon again and see what new changes the next evolution has on Blastoise. Okay, trainers, if I missed anything or if you have any thoughts on Blastoise, please add them in the comment section below. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when a new video is up. I plan to release one every week with the goal of completing every Pokemon in every generation currently released. Please follow me on Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter. The handle is @LondonInstinct for updates, posts, and stories. I have been featuring art submissions from trainers around the world, so feel free to submit yours too. See you next week, trainers. Bye.